ADEC's Smart Start program offers first-time practice owners their deepest discounts on equipment and furniture for 2 years, plus other savings and complimentary services. Ask your ADEC rep for details and start smart with ADEC. Join Doctors Savanah Craig and Ronnetta Sartor as we navigate life beyond graduation. Real conversations about forging our own paths in our early years in our careers. There's a reason it's called practicing dentistry. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Graduation. I'm Savanah Craig, and with me as always,
I'm Renetta Sartor.
All right, so we are coming at you in October 2025. Holidays are fast approaching, so we thought we would talk a little bit about goal setting and planning for the new year. Renetta, what does that typically look like for you, and what does that look like this year in particular?
So as it pertains to like dentistry and for the office, because we're a smaller team, we take vacation together. So we start planning our schedule for the next year in June.
So June of
this year,
2025, you plan for 2026. Okay.
Right. And so we'll have all of our vacations on there. Most of the time, the only thing that's added later for me is like continuing education, because sometimes we don't have the dates for those just yet. So from an office perspective, that is done already. And that kind of helps dictate my like personal life in terms of when I'm going to have time off and that sort of thing. But around November, December, I reflect on the year and look at like my vision board and goals that I set for the previous year, see which ones I got to, see which ones I didn't, see how close I got to getting to some of them, and plan for the next year. And I try to come up with a word or two that will be my word for the next year or two, to kind of help keep me centered and balanced when I'm looking at my goals for the year. And I try to create like a personal, professional, and like sometimes even like financial goal bucket or categories. And that's what I try to do. How about you?
Yeah, I think the past couple of years I have set like really big CE and travel goals. And so I'm actually kind of trying to work to be a little more flexible, learning in therapy that I sometimes trade one checklist for another, especially with like travel and CE. And so I'm not like as present as I want to be. So working to maybe not have the whole year planned, which is kind of different.
You gotta get used to it.
Yeah, but I actually think it's like a lot of growth to just be like, I don't know, what do we want to do? And the realization when I had to really renew my license for the first time, because like when you get an Ohio license, the first renewal cycle is they're just like are like, oh, you're good because you just got it, like you just graduated from residency, whatever, so you don't have to like put in your CE or like anything. So this is the first time I'm doing like the traditional cycle, and I kind of broke the website putting in all my CE. It actually like gave me an error and was like, girl, you did too much, like we just want your 30 hours, like calm down.
That's hilarious.
So that was kind of a reflection moment for me of like, I love CE and I love learning and growing, but like I also am starting to realize that maybe I'm not implementing everything I've learned to the best of my ability because I kind of was drinking from a fire hose. So what if I step back and just like really focus back in on like what I've learned over the last 3 years and like do it and take a break from some of the CE.
Yeah, and I think we're in a very similar place because I'm coming off last year finishing the mini residency through Dawson. And this year I didn't do as much CE, but it still was enough to break a website too.
Yeah.
And so I think this coming year, I think we'll be in the same boat and maybe we could hold each other accountable. But I'm wanting a year to be more so on implementation of
Yes.
all of the things that we learned. And
Yes.
this year we did a lot of coaching
Yes.
with Ignite Coaching. So a lot of that too is using all of the tools that we got from that to make sure that we're being as efficient as we can be, with our patients, and, getting patients the treatment that they want and need. And if they're not getting the treatment, figuring out how we can help alleviate whatever the obstacle is for them to be able to get it.
Totally. That's so funny that we've both come to this same place of like, it's not even like information overload, but I think you can just take so much CE that you never get to use all of it, or like trying to like look back at notes and like actually like use the information that I was given instead of just like, okay, and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. The other hopeful thing that should be working, I've been working on getting an out-of-state license to do some sedation teaching. So we'll hopefully have more information on that. So that would be like a cool professional goal. And yeah, I think this year is just really enjoying the fruits of my labor. Like, maybe I stay home and enjoy my mortgage. And like in September, in the beginning of October, we traveled like 4 weeks in a row for various things like weddings and CE and all of these things. And Adam was like, have you considered being at home? I was like, no. So I think that would be good for me too. But my, actually going into the year, my new planner came for 2026. So I'm very excited to have that. That's like my big thing. It comes out, I ordered it the end of September. So
is that from the same company you did last year? That's a pretty cool planner.
It is a very cool planner. Shout out to Laurel Denise. Sponsor me, give me free stuff, please. It's great. I'm obsessed with it.
So as it pertains to your office, how do you go about planning the year for, your office and like time off and stuff? Or are you saying that you're not going to plan time off from the office either?
So because we're like such a big team and can kind of just shift things around, we don't really have to plan office-wise. We can be a little bit more flexible and spontaneous. Obviously, it's kind of a like first come, first serve basis with vacations. So I've put some things like the Ignite retreat and things like that are for sure. But we've also been doing a lot more like swapping shifts. So nobody's working like, like our one coworker has Fridays off. And so she kind of always gets asked more often to cover, because my day off is Wednesday and most people aren't taking just a Wednesday off. And so we've been trying to be a little more fair. So she's not working 5 days in a row the whole month of whatever. So we'll just swap, and that makes taking time off a little bit easier because we can work it out amongst ourselves and the whole office isn't impacted. My team has become a little more travel hungry, and so they're like, can you take like 3 weeks off and we can like go to Europe? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me look. When do you want to go? I don't know. So that is a little bit different, but we do just like trade team and stuff. So it's not that big of a deal, but my team and I are probably a little codependent. So they're like, can we just all take off at the same time and we don't have to switch?
But that's awesome though, because you don't have to look for like someone to come help or figure that out.
Yeah. The benefits of the group practice. We are doing, I guess the one big trip that's already on the calendar is my husband's family does like a big beach trip every other summer. And it's like the whole extended family, like 45 or 50 people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's on the calendar for August. I also am trying to be more intentional this year about like spreading out the time off, because I think summer gets hit really, really hard. And so trying to spread it out so that maybe we're not traveling 4 weeks in a row, mix it up a little bit.
That's awesome.
So you are very good about taking time off, but not always doing things with your time off or like going on vacations. What are your, are you working on that still?
So this year coming up is going to be a big birthday year for me. So you'll be happy. I've already made plans for my birthday.
amazing.
I know. And then there'll be some other big things that we'll chat about when it comes. And so, yeah, I think next year I don't have a choice but to figure it out.
Good.
Because it's such a big year for a lot of stuff. And then time flies, but next year will be like 4 years of practice ownership. So
yes,
I'm really excited to see what year 4 will have in store.
So we had talked about a little bit about having these goals, but maybe not making them so fixed to like a timeline. Are you focusing a little bit more on that with like practice and personal goals? We're not there yet.
No. I think it's a really good question. It'll be interesting because what I typically do is that, so like in 2020, I did a year goal and then a 5-year goal.
Okay.
Well, we're at the 5-year mark, so I think I'll do both.
Okay.
And yeah, pretty much if it doesn't happen in the 1 year, then pretty much it's still on that list ultimately for the 5-year.
Okay, I like that.
So I know when they talk about setting goals and planning, they always say to be specific, but I think you and I are kind of in the same boat as it pertains to intentionality. And because we have very similar personalities too, like not being so like strict in terms of it has to happen now or within this time frame.
Or exactly in this way.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. All the things. All the things. Pretty much my goals have to be more loose because of those things. Because I know I know myself. Yeah. And it's my way of not self-sabotaging.
Ooh, yes. Yeah. It's very funny my goal is to have less goals or more flexible goals.
Yep. Top of my list too.
I think it's so funny because I would love to, I know that we've talked about this in previous podcasts, and I would love to go back and find maybe when we did this when I first was finishing residency, because I would imagine this conversation was so much different.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. It'll be interesting. I loved at Ignite Retreat. Was it a couple of years ago where we had to write the letter to ourselves?
Yes.
Like our future self in the next year. That was pretty awesome. So that might be something we need to bring back.
Yeah. And then I totally forgot we even did that. And then we got this paper and I was like, this is my handwriting. What the heck?
And then you looked at it and you saw what areas you did good in and what areas you didn't. And it was interesting.
I think it was so interesting to see like what was top of mind and like maybe what was so stressful in that moment, and then realizing that like most of those things like didn't end up mattering so much in the end, or like worked out however. I think that can be super good perspective of like, I don't know, I think because of who you and I are, we can take like self-reflection almost to a detrimental point. And so just like letting things be.
Yeah, so when I started residency, we weren't Prisma, we were Palmetto at the time. And so we even wrote letters during orientation. They had us write letters to ourselves. And I think I found it several years after like being an associate, and it was just so, because I mean, you're like fresh out of dental school.
Everything is so scary.
I think it was like words of encouragement to your like future self and that sort of thing. So it was pretty interesting. I like looking back on those things to just be able to just see the growth, because even if it doesn't seem like you're growing or that things are happening, it always is.
Yes. Yes.
And most of the time it's happening for our own good and we're learning lessons.
Yeah. And things that you couldn't even fathom happen. And this is, I think, part of the other thing with like being more flexible is I have seen myself miss out on opportunities because everything is so strictly planned and there's no room for these things in my schedule or in my life because of how booked I keep myself. which is a whole other, we're working through it. But so I think like that's part of it too, is like, I don't know, we probably can't even fully conceptualize all of the amazing things that are going to happen in this next year to even plan for them.
I love that perspective.
So leaving that space for awesome things to come and have room in our lives if we don't have every month planned to a T might be good.
I love it. I love that.
Well, let us know where you are in your New Year goal setting journey. Are you working on more flexible goals, or are you trying to have a goal at all? I think life is so weird in that, yeah, we're just all in such different places. So I'm interested to hear what everyone is looking forward to in 2026. That feels like a fake year. I'm going to mess it up in dates for a long time. But anyway, we'll catch y'all back here next.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Beyond Graduation. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be sure to share it with a friend. Connect with us on social media at Savanah Craig, DDS, and at Dr_Sartor. And remember, you are not alone on this journey.
ADEC certified pre-owned equipment is a sustainable, affordable choice that makes genuine ADEC equipment available to every doctor. Each package is sold on a first-come, first-served basis. So, if you see one you like, contact your dealer. For more information, go to www.adec.com/find a dealer. Thank you for listening to Beyond Graduation, brought to you by Ignite DDS and Future Dentists. This episode was sponsored by Ignite DDS Coaching. We build self-determined futures. For more information, please reach out to the Ignite DDS team.